Hi, how you doing? I'm Tim Carter. Welcome to the live stream. I think my hair's messed up again. Yeah, over here. Oh well. I had to wear a hat today. And it's kind of cold here in New Hampshire, and I was outside and I wear one of those, knit hats. And anyway, it just it just messes up my hair. I don't care. I only look at my hair. Well, now I see it in the live stream in the screen, but generally before the live stream, I'd only see it twice, 3 times a day when I brush my teeth, and that's it. I don't care what it looks like. Okay. Um, I'm in a great mood. I got so many things going on, and I'm just glad you're here. And we're going to have a good time today. And we're going to talk about a lot of things, I think. The biggest thing we're going to talk about is a news story that I saw last week about GAF. They're one of the top asphalt shingle manufacturers in the US, and are they have put out. I'm sure they had quite a few years of secret, testing and development going on to produce some solar shingles. Instead of the big photovoltaic, panels, they've got these things that just look like shingles. All right. So anyway, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. If you have any questions, um, Shannon, how you doing? Yeah, we're gonna jump into the whole solar thing. Anyway, if you have any questions about anything else, I'm happy to answer them. I want to. I didn't have it ready here. I'm sorry. Today's sponsor, of course, Roofing Ripoff. Roofing Ripoff. My book, free. You can get it free if you want. You can get a lot of other stuff free too. I will give you that link right here to get it. And I'm also going to put in the link that you can start looking at for the GAF solar shingles. So that is the link for the free ebook, and you get some other stuff. So if you've not done it yet, you should. Before we go any further, I'll tell this quick story. So I'm not going to mention any names. When I started this free giveaway, and it was only 9 days ago. Hey, Will, how you doing? I'll talk about the wood ash in a little bit. When I started the free giveaway 9 days ago, it was on Sunday morning, January 2nd. I had, as crazy as it sounds, I was basically producing like a 95% discount on my entire digital library. If you go to my over the years, I lost track of how much stuff I created. Actually, between Christmas and New Year's, when I was getting all this together, I go back and I go, I don't even remember creating those videos. It was crazy. All right, so anyway, if you go into my shopping cart right now and you buy, like, let's just say you go nuts and like you hit the lottery and you go buy all of my digital products, you're going to spend about $1,500, maybe $1,600. All right. None of them are very expensive. It's just that they all add up. I mean, there's like 115 of them. All right. So they average about $10 a piece. Big deal. Anyway, so in this PDF file that people get when they sign up for the newsletter, where they get the 8 free ones, it says my connection's unstable. I hope I'm still there. Anyway, hey Jason, how you doing? Are you able to hear me right now? I'm just because I got a message that my connection is unstable and they're trying to reconnect. But if you are listening to me, can you tell me if I am still streaming? That would be nice to know. I'm just waiting. Let me know. Just type yes. Somebody type yes. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm frozen at your end. I'll keep talking and we'll see what happens. Okay. I'm okay. Okay, good. All right. So right now, that entire digital library, you can get. I gave 5 price points. At first, and this is the story. I started at $19.99, and then it went to $49.99, $99.99, $129.99, $149.99. Even at $149, and you get to pick whichever price you want to pay. All right. Even at $149.95 or 99, you're getting like a $1,300 discount. But the people who were supposed to pay the lowest price, I made it really clear. That price, because I get all these emails from people who say they're on fixed incomes. They must, I mean, they're in such bad condition financially that they can't even afford a $50 consult call of mine. All right. I mean, $50 I know is a lot of money, but would you? And the call's guaranteed, the satisfaction. In other words, if you're facing a $10,000 conundrum, would you invest $50 to make sure you get the right decision? Well, I would hope that you would say yes. I would. Anyway. So today, so last Sunday, as the orders start coming in, I could see right away that way too many people were choosing the 1995 option. So right after church, I bumped the price up to $29.95, doing a quick A/B test, and I switched the PDF file for all the people who would get it after church. It's a long story, but I knew there would be some people caught in the squeeze where they saw the $19 price, but when they went to the cart, they would get charged $29.95. All right. So any of those people that complained back last Sunday, I just gave them everything for free. And not one of, there were about 5 of them, not one of them got back to me and said, thank you. All right. That's one thing. But today, a person emails really pretty angry and says, I want a $10 discount because Tim said that I could get it for $19. So of course I gave him the $10 back. But it's like, but here's the other side. I'm not going to tell you his name. But yesterday, somebody picks the highest option, the $149.99, $150. And then they also add a $50 tip. So it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, enough of that. So it actually makes me laugh. I mean, I'm happy about this. It's just like, because it's a really interesting look, like through the lens of humanity when you're on my side of this. When you see, like just minutes before I went online, some guy who, once again, I'm not going to say his name, some guy was screaming at me in capital letters in the email saying, he wanted his free kitchen checklist and that the link I gave didn't work. So I had 2 hours ago, I gave him the link that I know worked because I checked it. And he screams at me, the link doesn't work. I mean, this guy's blood pressure must have been 300 over 200. I don't know. It's like, I wanted to say to him what I said to Barbara Bruder all those years ago. Take a Valium. I said that to her. That's a story I need to tell one day. I told this customer of mine to take a Valium. I didn't know she was on Valium. Oh, that's a great story. Anyway, I'm in a great mood. Okay, we're going to talk solar in just a second. Let me catch up with the comments. Hi, Greg. How you doing? Yeah. I know you used the roofing bid sheet. It worked great for you. Hi, Joe. Hey, Lorene. How you doing? Oh, good, Edmund. I'm glad you can hear me. In the past, man. Yeah, exactly. It's here's what's going to happen. It's really going to be funny. And probably in a month, I'm going to let this thing run for a month because it's running through all the newspapers. And when I go to do, just like at a bar, when the bartender says last call, because they have to shut down and close. When I do the last call email, and Greg knows this because Greg's one of my subscribers. Exactly, you're exactly right, Lorene. There's, don't get me started about people and computers. Greg will tell you that when I have a sale on anything, whether it's stain solver or whatever, that I do this last call email, and I warn people. I warn them a week after, hey man, the sale's going to expire, and I really do. I mean, I take it away from them, and that's the most powerful psychological a trigger of all and all of humans is scarcity. That's why we waterboard prisoners, just so you know. I mean, we take away from them something that's pretty valuable, air. You take air away from somebody, they start singing like a canary. All right. That's why, and so marketers use this on you all the time. You may not be aware of it, but you'll see the sale's going to end. The sale. I mean, LL Bean they are pros at it. Pros, and there's a lot of companies that are really good at it. When I do that, here's what's going to happen, Greg. You're going to see this happen in the newsletter, and that I'm probably going to ratchet the price up over a period of a month. I'm going to say, okay, a week from now, the sale that's going to be over. You'll never be able to get it again for $29.99. Blah blah blah. I'm going to raise the price to $395, and I'm going to say, and even at that price, it's still a $1,200 discount. And then there'll be a flood of sales. And then I'll tell people, all right, that price is only going to be there for a week or a few. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. Probably just a few days. And then it's going to go to $495. And then it's going to go to $595. So you'll see a huge tsunami of sales from all what I call the procrastinators. There's a bunch of people who they just figure, okay, I'll just get it later. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Let me get caught up, and then we're going to go talk about the solar stuff. All right, Josh, I'm finally in the master bath. I promised my wife about 10 years ago. I have ABS drains in the house. Is there a way to remove a pipe from a fitting? No, there's not a way. No. If there is, I'm unaware of it, because when you use the solvent to weld those plastics together, it's actually called solvent welding. I mean, it's just like when you weld two pieces of metal together, they become one. All right. So on a molecular level, that pipe and that fitting, they're one thing. They're not, it's not like being able to unscrew it. So you're just going to have to cut it out, put on a repair coupling, whatever. And just know, Josh, that I do I'm a master plumber. I've been one since 1981. I do phone coaching. If you need me to help you through this and tell you exactly how to do it so you'll never have any trouble, you can purchase 15 minutes of my time, just like a taxi cab driver. It's right there in the shopping cart. Okay, Edmund, I'm talking about the solar roof shingles right now, Edmund. We're going to get started. I kind of had to do a little monologue about what I call the angry people. And the, I don't know, I call them the cheapskates too, but that's okay. That's okay. Everybody's got a story, right? All right. So here, let me paste the link in. So while I'm talking, you can go see them. So I saw a story online. I want you to go to this link, open up another tab in your browser, go there, giving GAF a free plug here. Well, may not be a good product. I don't know. I haven't tested it. All right. So, and that's the first disclaimer right off the bat here. I'm talking about this GAF product. I have not tested it. I don't know anything about it. I've not held one in my hands. All I can go by is the fluff, and that's what it is. Fluff, F-L-U-F-F on that page that I just gave you in the chat. All right. It's a bunch of fluff there. There's nothing really. It's just fluff. It's just marketing. It's feel good. It's like eating an ice cream cone. Mocha chip, by the way. So here's what happened. So GAF comes out. A lot of people don't like the big PV panels, the PV, photovoltaic. They don't like them because they don't like the way they look. They sit up above the roof. The installers have to drill a bunch of holes in your roof, and if they don't do it right, it's going to leak. There's all kinds of issues. So GAF, took all that and said, okay, you know what? We'll make a photovoltaic system kind of like the Tesla roof. I'm sure GAF and Tesla were working at the same time, going off the complaints of what people don't like about the standard PV panels. What you see on that page, there's the link right there in the chat, is their product. And it's just like a shingle. And it's these strips, and they evidently nail them on, and they overlap just like shingles. And they say that it'll resist uplift of 130 miles per hour in a windstorm. And they work, evidently. I mean, I'm sure they work. I mean, come on, photovoltaic. I mean, I've got a miniature PV panel right here, you know. So this is a photovoltaic. This is a just a storage battery that you know, in other words, if my cell phone goes bad or if I'm out hiking or on a camping trip, you know, I can recharge my cell phone with this, blah, blah, blah. All right. So it has a trickle charger here. This is a photovoltaic screen. It would take days and days and days and days and days of being in the sun to charge this whole battery up because it's such a small screen. Anyway, um, the issue is that technology's been around for a long time. All right, so I'm good with that. But here's the questions. Here's, you know me, I'm really inquisitive. In other words, luckily I've been around long enough. That's, you know, this stuff up here, of which my wife tells me, Kathy says, there's not as much as there used to be. All right. And I know it's true. Did I tell you that? I'm getting off on a little sidetrack. So on Thanksgiving Day, I recorded that video about how to use the copper press tool. And my son was recording me and he's getting these different shots. And there was this one shot where I had to bend my head over like this. And you could see the top of my head in the video. I went, when I'm editing, I'm going, oh my gosh, where'd all the hair go? All right. Anyway, so here's some of the questions. These aren't all of them, but these are some good ones. And I think I already know the answers. Some I don't know the answers to. The first one is, can you walk on them? I just can't believe you can walk on these things. All right. And if you go to that page, um, um, you, I'm looking at the, well, anyway. All right. Anyway, I'm going to jump in on Greg Kreider's thing, but his plumbing advice. Greg's a great guy, but I don't think he's a master plumber like I am. So I would never use a Fernco. All right. So anyway, can you walk on them? I doubt it. I just have a feel. I mean, I would never want to walk on these things because would I walk on a photovoltaic panel? Probably yes, maybe. I mean, because they just seem like they're really strong. They've got this glass coating. But from what I can tell in the photographs, these GAF solar shingles, they look pretty thin. And I would be terrified that you would break, you know, an electrical connection inside the shingle. So and if you can't walk on them, then how in the world, think of how hard it would be. Think about this. How in the world would you repair one? You know, so and then the other question is, how do you know? I would hope that they have some type of overriding computer that somehow can tell if one of the shingles goes bad. How do you know if one of the shingles goes bad? You generally don't know when one of the photovoltaic panels go bad, but you know, how do you know when one of the shingles go bad? That's another question you need to ask. Um, and then on shingles, the way this technology has been around for 40 or so years, they have a self-sealing cement on shingles so that when the one shingle overlaps the other one, I'll try to do it this way. When this shingle overlaps this one, right where these fingers are, I'm sorry, I'm all cattywampus. There are dabs of cement so that this tab doesn't blow up in a windstorm. All right, so they're not going to put a bunch of goop like that on these solar shingles. So how do those shingles seal? How do they interlock so they won't blow up in a windstorm? How are they? If you look at the photos on that page, you'll notice that the only way you can really install these shingles is they have to be in the middle of a field of shingles. In other words, you're not going to put these things completely over an entire roof because when you get to the edges, you can't cut them. All right. Just like with shingles, we have to trim the shingles. So how are those edges where that solar shingle stops and the shingles begin? Talk to me about how you seal that. Because on a real roof, you could never take two roofing materials and put them together like that and hope that it doesn't leak. Just couldn't do it. I'm sure they've got something going on. I just want to see how they do it. Can you install these solar shingles on top of gray ice and water shield? What happens? Does it get too hot? I mean, the nails are not going to hurt the gray ice and water shield because we nail shingles over gray ice and water shield. But for example, me in New England, I'm putting gray ice and water shield on my roof. The whole thing. That's what I have on my house now. These are just good questions. So how about roof rakes? If you live down south or if you've never been to New England, then you don't know what a roof rake is. So a roof rake is this plastic thing that all of us up here in New England, if you're smart, when it snows, you have to get it out. You have to go outside and you have to rake the snow off your roof. All right. So, you're sliding this plastic thing across your shingles. It's not necessarily good for the shingles, but you're not supposed to be beating on it either, like with a hammer. But what happens if you take a roof rake across these solar shingles? Because you would absolutely want to get the snow off of them. Because if you don't get the snow off, they're not going to work. All right. So how do you get the snow off? I mean, so maybe that's the question you ask him. And then the last question I have off the top of my head is, how much do they degrade each year? You may not be aware of this, but traditional photovoltaic panels, the ultraviolet rays from the sun, about 5% of those UV rays contain photons. And those photons blast apart whatever they hit. They're like miniature cruise missiles. I mean, they're so powerful. The photons are so powerful. If you have copper flashing up on your roof, or you have zinc, or you have tin, or whatever, it blasts off the metal. It explodes the metal. That little partial atom is there, and then the next rainstorm washes it off. You know this to be fact, but I'll bet you've never thought about this, right? How many times have you gone for a drive in the country? You go past a barn or a shed, and it's got a metal roof on it, and the metal roof is rusty. What did that metal roof look like 20 years before, 25 or 30? It was galvanized. It was just a galvanized, corrugated roofing. well, what happened to all the zinc? Where did it go? Did the birds eat it? No. The sun hit the flipping zinc, boom, exploded it, and then the next rainstorm, off she goes. All right, so that's what happens to your photovoltaic cells. That's what happens to your deck sealer. That's what happens to your flag outside when you see your flag just fall apart after a year. That's the ultraviolet rays just tearing it. I mean, that's what causes cancer in us. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know this kind of stuff. You just got to start putting two and two together. Okay, I'm going to get caught up on the chat. Got a lot of stuff going on here. And then we're going to talk about Greg's fern coat. Greg, I don't mean to beat up on you. I'm sorry. But fern coats, no, they're just not. They're like the lazy man's way to fix things. Here's all you need to know about fern coats. You have to understand that when we plumbers do work, not all of us, some of us, I can't even say most of us, I don't know. I know I want the plumbing installation to last, I don't know, 100 years, 150, whatever. All right, so is that fern coat going to hold up? See, the problem with the fern coats is it's this rubber coupling, and it just has a narrow, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch wide stainless steel, like muffler clamp at each end. And if there's movement in the system, how long before that rubber gets so, it loses its plasticizers or whatever, and then the rubber fails? All right, so we use rubber on the no-heb cast iron. I got that. All right. But it's really high grade rubber, and we have a complete stainless steel clamp that completely surrounds all of the rubber. So the rubber cannot flex. And that's what I don't like about fern coats, is they can flex. Let me get caught up on the chat. I'll get something to drink. Here we go. Thank you, Shannon, for answering that question about what I was going to do about talking about solar. Ms. Rain, you love all my videos. Thank you. I think that's I don't know that you are, I appreciate it. Shannon says, the risk of walking on is too high. Exactly. Exactly. You're exactly right. It's too high. I guess you said, Josh says, that's what I thought. I've seen people hear fittings up, but I think, yeah, I'm looking on the keyboard. R and T are right next to one another. That's the way it is on your keyboard, not mine. I type the Dvorak method. That's the thing we'll talk about another day. We'll talk about Dvorak. There's so much stuff to talk about. No, you can't, don't be heating up the plastic. Yeah. So Greg, this is a great comment. So let me give some backstory here about Greg. So you don't know Greg. I know Greg. I had the pleasure of meeting Greg in person. I don't know, Greg, how long ago? Gosh, I'm guessing it was 10 years ago, on one of the times I had to testify in front of Congress. I've testified in front of Congress 2 times. But remember, after the one time, then you know, we had the meetup, and then you drove me. You were kind enough to drive me all the way up to BWI, up to Baltimore, and you had just had your eye. You had just had something done with your eyes, because I remember you had a hard time seeing the signs. So I felt really bad when you told me that. Like, we were almost at the airport, and I'm thinking, why is this guy out driving? I could have taken a cab or whatever. Anyway, so I've known Greg. Greg's a great guy. The trouble, Greg, is that here's the best way to answer that, your comment. What if I told you I've walked by concrete finishers who are 55 years old, 60 years old, and they are finishing concrete. You need to understand this. They have been installing concrete for 30 or 35 years. And they are sprinkling water on the concrete so they could get a really nice finish on it. What if I told you that's the wrong way to do it? What if I told you that when you do that, you dilute the amount of cement pastes up at the top of the surface of the concrete, and you make the concrete weaker up there, which is what causes it to fall off? In the old days, go back 50, 60 years ago, they had enough concrete finishers on the job that the concrete would not get away from them. That's what we call it. Meaning, you need to understand that when the concrete is mixed in the truck, all of the concrete is on the same schedule. All right. It's, in other words, the hydration reaction has started, and the crystals are growing, and they're all growing pretty much at the same rate. So if you've got 50 feet of sidewalk to do and you're the only finisher there, that first 15, 20 feet is going to go pretty nice. But all of a sudden you're finishing and you're going, man, it's requiring a lot more work. What's going on? No, you know what? It's because, and so they'd sprinkle water on it to make some cream. Bad idea. So the point I'm trying to make is those concrete finishers were taught how to do it the wrong way. So Greg, I maintain, I don't know the guy, could be a really great guy, that your plumber has been thinking all this time that fern coats are a good idea. Well, they're not. They're not a good idea. I mean, they're just not. And they're a so-so idea. All right, that's the difference. In other words, they work. I'm not going to say they don't work, but I want something that's far more permanent. And so if I were you, Greg, I would tell him from now on, don't use a fern coat. Why don't you use a no hub coupling instead? See what he says. And if you don't know what a no hub coupling is, go look it up. You know, actually, you can see it. Just go to my website. Go to askthebuilder.com right now, type cast iron in, and look at that stunning photo of those 2 cast iron stacks that I put in my daughter's home. And you'll see those no hub couplings right there, buddy. Tell them to put one of those on. All right. Oh, that's what it was. The home show. Oh, yeah, exactly. You know, I just now remember that. Yeah, exactly. Good. I'm glad I couldn't remember. I didn't know if you had LASIK surgery or what it was. Anyway, yeah, that was a great time. I enjoyed you taking me, the conversation. I remember all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I haven't, that might've been the last home show I've done. those things they're okay. I mean, you make a little bit of money, but it's just not worth all the effort. It's fraught with problems. So anyway, boy, I'm thirsty today. It's really dry here. It's getting cold. Going to be below zero tonight. Anyway, if you've got questions about solar, any kind of question about solar, type it in the chat. I'd love to answer it. I mean, here's some of the things about solar that that I always wonder about. And I believe me, I have friends who have solar, and I love it. I love everything about it. I love solar. I love it, especially being an amateur radio operator. I'm a HF radio operator, a high frequency. It's what makes HF communications possible, the sun. A lot of people don't know that because what it does, just so you know, getting off on a little tangent here, the sun, when you have those like solar storms and the sun has like a sunspot, and it's kind of flaring out like a little solar flare, it's sending out all this flipping energy. Well, that energy tickles the ionosphere that surrounds the planet. And the ionosphere starts, getting excited. And when that happens, the radio signals bounce off of it. If the ionosphere is asleep because the sun's asleep, it gets tough, man. It's you don't get as much skip. It doesn't work as well. And basically the sun's in 11-year cycles. So you can read all about it. Just go read solar cycles. Anyway, there's the crutch word. Oh my gosh. Solar. I love it. I love photovoltaic because, like a friend of mine, a neighbor of mine, I own 90 acres here in New Hampshire. A friend of mine owns a piece of ground right next to mine. He's got a nice solar array. He's got the one that's detached from the house. And he was really lucky. He was able to put it in a spot. It's like the least, I'm going to say it's on the west side of his home, I think, where there's hardly any windows. So he doesn't even see it. I mean, maybe when he pulls into the garage, he might see it. And that's wonderful. In other words, he's got it out of the way. You don't see this thing and it's working. I mean, he's I don't know that he's had an electric bill for years, and I think here in New Hampshire, he's able to sell some power back to the power company. I don't know. But anyway, I love photovoltaic. It's my favorite type. And I also love solar hot water heating, where you can put, tubing up on your roof in these boxes, and you can make the water for your hot water system heat up. That's a great idea too. But anyway, the biggest problem with solar is that you just have to do the math. All right. And a lot of people, they don't want to do the math. And you have to, you just have to do the math because you just got to find out at what point are you going to break even? Because see, you need to understand something right now. I've said this in many, many past columns. Let's just say you want to put solar in. And I know there's all these government incentives and tax credits and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So there's the crutch word. You finally sit down with a contractor, and the contractor says, even after all these things, you're still going to have to write me a check. I'm just making the number up, okay? Just for sake of discussion. You're going to need to write me a check for $15,000. And you go, all right, here's the check. You write it out. All right, 15 grand. Out the window, man. Gone. All right. He comes the next day, puts in your solar panels. They all work. Life is good, right? Well, you got to do the math. So, and it's really complex if you really do it the right way. A CPA would be able to do it. Not me. But what would have happened? Think about this. What would have happened if you would have kept the 15,000 and invested it somewhat conservatively in the stock market? Well, have you noticed what the run up in the stock market has been the past 3-4 years? It's gone pretty well. If you put that 15,000 in the market, you might have 22,000 or 24,000. So you're up 7 or 9 grand maybe, okay? So how many electric bills will that pay? And you still have your 15 grand. it's not up on your roof. All right. So you got to think about that. In other words, realize this. This is something that you need to memorize. When you spend money on an energy improvement on your home, I don't care if it's a water heater or an air conditioner, if it's replacement windows, if it's solar, whatever it is, if you have to actually write a check, you don't start saving money until you have paid yourself back completely in the lower utility bills. In other words, you have to zero out that expenditure. And then after you've zeroed it out and paid yourself back the interest maybe you could have gotten, which is horrible right now, after that, then you finally start to save money. All right. So that's that. And I've written that in many a past column, and not one person has ever challenged me on that. You know why? Because I know it's true. It's just simple math. But salesmen don't tell you that. Will, you may have to I don't know, watch Morocco. Yeah, you could have, because you guys are close to the equator. Although I don't know, Morocco, that's a really interesting point there. Morocco is close to the equator. When you're close to the equator, you're supposed to just have 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of sunlight, or nighttime, right? Isn't that right? I don't know how that could be that you would have 15 hours, but I know you're not right on the equator. So that could be true. But you're pretty close to the equator, Morocco. You're just north of it. Boy, I wonder if that's my son, my brother-in-law, Mike Whalen. I doubt it. Mike Whalen wants to know. I have to check on a UPS driver in a second. He wants to know, would you install battery storage or just direct tie-in? I'll answer that in just a second. I'm waiting. We have a UPS driver here, and I'm looking out my window. He's supposed to be picking up a box, and I want to make sure he walks back to the car with a box in his hand. All right, so that's what I'm waiting to see here. Hang on tight. That's one of the fun things about these live streams. Anyway, I don't know about the battery backup because he's got the box. All right, good. All right, so that's a great question. A friend of mine in Colorado, well, I'm going to call him an acquaintance now. He had a big battery storage system. The thing that before I would make the decision on the battery, here's what you need to know. Once again, you have to probably do the calculations yourself, and I'm telling you right now, it's not easy. You would want to know if the grid goes down and there's no sunlight. Like here in New Hampshire, we might have 4 or 5 days of no sun or very minimal sun, heavy cloud cover. How long do the batteries last? In other words, is it like me on my standby generator? Meaning I have a standby generator that's 17,000 watts. I can't run my whole house on it. All right, I can't run my 240 volt oven, but I can run a lot of things. I mean, it'll run my boiler, it'll run my water pump, my well pump, it'll run my sewage ejection pump, a lot of lights in the house, blah 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 blah. All right, so you need to then know how long will the batteries last? All right, at what load? Obviously, the greater the load, the shorter the runtime. So that's a really, really important question because then you start to wonder, would it be better to have a standby generator like I have? In other words, I have a standby generator that runs on propane, and as long as I've got propane, I can create my own electricity for a long time. All right, get a little expensive, but I'm not going to freeze to death. All right, so that's a great question. It's not an easy one to answer. A lot of great comments here. Let me get caught up. Hickam says solar heaters are so expensive. Exactly. So that goes back to my point is all of this, you have to be really careful because the salesmen are really good. And then you've got from a different perspective. I'm not going to talk politics, but there is a lot of pressure that's coming at you that is not from the solar companies that make the PV panels, but it's this psychology that is being used on you to try to get you to do that, to make you feel good. Or if you don't do it, that you're scum of the earth. All right. So that's a problem. I mean, that's a problem. You have to understand that there's some really powerful psychology that's working in the background. All right. Okay. So EHIT, I have no idea what the price is because GAF didn't put it on their website and they're not going to publish it. You're not going to find a price there. What's going to happen is you have to fill out the form, go to that link. I'll put the link back in again. Here's the link again. So here, you got to go to this link. You got to fill out your name and email address, zip code, whatever. And then you're going to get a phone call and you're going to get a visit from somebody. All right. Well, you may or may not. I did it on a different company, on a Generac website about 4 months ago. I've yet to get a phone call. All right. So, but let me get caught up on the comments here. All right, it's me, Showbiz, and I updated my but wasn't able to get fixed because it was an older pipe, and after my house was made, it was a long time ago. So that's a shame you couldn't fix it. I'm sure there's a way to fix it, but you might not have known how to do it. But that's just keep in mind in the future if that happens to you again. Remember, I offer a very affordable phone coaching, much cheaper than calling a plumber, and you might have been able to send me some really good photographs, and I could have told you what to do. All right. So I can guarantee you that I could have fixed it somehow. I would have fixed it. I would have fixed it. So how is my generator? Lorene wants to know. It's powered by propane, Lorene. Just it burns propane. It's just like it's got a big engine in it. I think it's a 2-cylinder Kohler engine, and it just burns propane. So works really well. All right. In my house, although my power's kind of broken because yeah, well, you've got major problems. Super Spring Plus reviews. You have major, and also with this thing you talked about how you plug in your air compressor, things start to flash. You need to read the news story about what happened in Brooklyn yesterday. All right, Brooklyn, New York. Go read that story. That will open up your eyes. All right. 19 people died. All right. And several of them kids. All right. Should have never happened, but it did. All right. All right. Here we go. If your circuit breaker is going out because you plug your air compressor in, it probably means you're overloading the circuit. All right. So think of, if you don't know what electrical circuits are in a house, just think of a wire that starts at your circuit breaker panel, and that wire goes out and feeds a certain number of outlets, a certain number of lights, and that's all it feeds. That's a circuit. And in some cases, we have circuits that feed just one outlet. For example, the code requires us to run one wire to a refrigerator, and that's it. Nothing else is allowed to be on that. We run one wire to the dishwasher. Nothing else is allowed to be on it. If you want this problem to stop, and if you don't want to burn down, meaning, seriously, die in a fire and become where they have to use dental records to identify you. I mean, that's what happens. I know it sounds gross, but that's what it is. In other words, when you get burned up in a fire, they have no idea. They can only identify you through your dental records. All right. So I hope you're going to the dentist so they can figure out who you are. Just run a new circuit, run a brand new wire from your circuit breaker panel to the air compressor. That's all you got to do. None of this is hard. I offer phone coaching. You can just get me on the phone. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. So simple. All right. And there's all kinds of videos on YouTube if you want to try to do it for free, and I hope you get it right. Remember, hope. Hope is a really interesting thing. Think about this. You should only hope for things that you can't control. Meaning, you can't control the weather. So you should hope, like you go, well, I hope it doesn't get too hot tomorrow, or I hope it doesn't rain. But you don't ever want to hope, ever, never do you want to hope that you're going to get the electric right that you've never done before. Go read the story about what happened in Brooklyn yesterday. 19 people died, and there's going to be more that die. And there's going to be people that survived that are going to be messed up the rest of their lives because they inhaled a bunch of smoke that contained a bunch of particles burning plastic. Nothing worse than inhaling smoke from plastics burning. All right. Hey, Louise, how you doing? When will they here? This is a great. I'm sure it's a rhetorical question. When will they make a solar shingle that looks good? Just so you know, I'm sorry. I am in such a good mood today. I am so frisky. I mean, I'm just because you think it looks good, I might think it looks like crap. so when it comes to you, EHIT, they may never make one because you may always think they look horrible. That's what it says. This GAF looks like a giant square in here. If you're right, it does. Kurt Papio, exactly. All right, so now, yeah, I know the Tesla roof looks decent too, but we've only seen it in prototypes. I haven't seen any. I'm sure they've got a few test roofs out there, but they're not publishing where they are. I would love if they would publish the address, but the homeowners probably don't want a bunch of people ringing their doorbell. All right, I get that. So to your point, okay, you bring up a really good point. If you were going to build a new home and you wanted to have one of these solar roof shingles and you didn't like the way they looked, so what would you have to do to orient your house? All right, so you already know if you're living up north of the equator, you need to have these solar shingles on a south-facing roof. Simple as that. So that means maybe in your situation, the south-facing roof needs to be pointing to the backyard. I don't know. I mean, you see how this comes into play? It's really interesting. I mean, it actually makes picking a lot and thinking about your house design, it really complicates it. I can tell you that right now. Really complicates it. I had some friends who really did this the right way. Now, I'm saying this with true respect. They both were blown up 3 years ago in a propane explosion. Their house exploded. They were killed instantly. It happened in North Carolina. What happened is a landslide. There was a bunch of heavy rain. There was a landslide, and the landslide came and knocked and dismounted their propane tank, which then I tried to get the facts from the sheriff, and I couldn't get them. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it caused propane to leak into their home for hours, and they knew that there was a leak. And anyway, I think they were probably trying to air out the house. But here's what they might not have known. So propane is heavier than air. That's a bad thing. So if they had propane in the house and they put their windows open, well, guess what? Everything below the windowsill would be propane. All right. And above them, they might not be able to smell it so much. But I'm just saying that just think of your house. If you have the doors closed but the windows open, you could have like a swimming pool of propane in your house about 3 feet deep. All right. Anyway, the whole house, it looked like an atom bomb went off. All right. So, so that's a little sidebar. They love solar, and they had a big photovoltaic array, but they lived on a hill, and luckily for them, they could put this array kind of down on the hill. They didn't even see it from their home. Didn't even see it. And then the power line came back into the house. So if you love solar, if you blah, 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 start to think about where could I put that photovoltaic panel? It doesn't have to be up on the roof. It could be down like my friends did. It could be down over a hill, and you never see it. So you just gotta use the tiny gray cells up here that unfortunately a lot of people don't use all the time. I'm trying to see what time it is. I'm trying to see where Steve is. How come Steve's not here? Decaf. I don't know, man. I'm just wound up today. I'm just wound up. Um, EHIT wants to know, can you walk on the solar shrink? I asked that question. You might not have heard me. I don't know. My guess would be no, that you can't walk on it. I just would. I'd be afraid of damaging them. You have to ask that question to the manufacturer. Uh, Super Spring Plush Reviews wants to know. He says, also, should I just maybe fix it myself or just buy a new house? What should I do? I am going to share with you what you should do right now. Stand by. Stand by. I've mentioned it 3 times now, but I'm not doing a good job. I do a really bad job of promoting my own products. All right. So here is what you should do. This is exactly what you should do. And this is so much cheaper than buying a new home. You should do this. You should do this right now. You should go click that link and get your credit card out. And if you don't like my advice, I'm going to give you your money back. You've got nothing to lose. All right. It's simple as that. Thank you, Will. We're getting lots of bad people, I think, today. Yeah. Lorraine, it was horrible. It was in North Carolina. You can actually look it up. You can read the story. I'll give you their name because they're dead anyway. So if you just search it, just type this into Google, type in Jim and Audrey, Audri, Lanford, Lanford, propane explosion, North Carolina. I mean, that's a long thing to type in, but you'll get the news story. You'll actually see a photograph of the house. What's left of the house. So Jim and Audrey Lanford, I think it was Boone, North Carolina. I think that's the town they lived in. Go read about it. I actually contacted the police department, because I was going to do a big national story on it, but they were, at the time, they were kind of holding back on me, and I was not happy about that. I was not happy at all. They were kind of evasive on their answers on the questions. And so that told me that there was some kind of money involved. There told me there was somebody was covering for somebody. Some kind of cover up was going on. I can't prove it, but since it's been now so long, I don't want to say I don't care. It's not going to do any good to go down there digging into it. No one's gonna care. So, well, a few might care, but it was a horrible, horrible thing. One of the takeaways from that story, just so you know, is you talk about, you hear it all the time when people say, well, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go, and you never know when it's going to be. There was no way, because I knew both these people really well, this husband and wife. They were both brilliant. I mean, Audrey was a PhD. Jim was an incredibly smart software engineer. And there is no way that they thought they were going to die because they were so smart. I mean, I know them. They would have gotten out of that house so fast and gotten out of there and let the flipping experts take care of it. Let the propane company come. Let the fire department come. But that's not what happened. But they knew. I got enough information out of the police department. Jim and Audrey knew that there was a problem. There was propane in the house. But you do not want to mess with propane. You do not. Or natural gas. But propane, a lot of people don't realize it's heavier than air. Bad. Okay, Mike's got a question. What do you think of the people that will install free solar on your house free? I don't, nothing. Here's how I answer the question. Nothing is for free. Now, well, I take that back. I just gave away a bunch of free stuff. But solar stuff's not free. No, I gave away a bunch of electrons. You're not going to get very many people to give you away atoms. Well, the little old lady at the grocery store with those toothpicks and the cheese, she's giving away free atoms. But she's using really powerful psychology on you. It's called reciprocity. Here, let's talk about that for a minute. I wish Steve were here. He would so enjoy today. Oh, Steve, you're so missing out, man. Anyway, tell me, be honest. So you're at the grocery store. You're pushing your little trolley, your buggy up and down the aisles. You turn the corner, and there is this woman or a man or whatever. It could be an attractive young woman. It could be an older woman with silver or blue hair, whatever. And she's got an apron on, and she's got these little samples of cheese or salami. I don't care what it is, man, with toothpicks in it. You know, and if you if you make the mistake, that's what it is, a mistake. If you make the mistake and grab one of those things, it's game over. So tell me if you've done that, and then you walk away and you don't buy the thing, whatever that new cheese is. Do you feel guilty after walking away? Do you feel like, oh man, what a slime bag I am, you know? Do you feel that way? If so, that's how powerful the psychology is. That's the psychology that they're using on you with all the face diapers, by the way. So that's a whole nother deal. All right, so let's get into the things here. All right. Anyway, Mike, to answer your question, it's like anything else. You have to do the math, but most people are not willing to do it. They're too lazy. Maybe they don't know how to do the math. Here's all you need to know. Look at the statistics from the National Association of Realtors. Now, this is going to have changed because of the past 2 years, but what is the average length of time a person stays in their home? Do you know what it is for what it's been historically for years? It's been 8 years. 8 years, and then they move. All right, so, you know, if you're getting ready to make a huge investment in your home, like for solar or replacement windows or something else, and there's even the smallest chance that you might move, you better really put the pencil to the paper, buddy. Because if you think you're going to get back all of your investment from the next buyer of the home, you're dreaming. You're dreaming. Not going to happen. All right. All right. Well, anyway, whatever you say, Super Spring. It's up to you. You asked me what you should do, and I gave you the link of what you should do. You right up there. I see your chat. You say, "What should I do?" And then I gave you a link to click. You need to click that link. That's what you need to do. All right. I've walked away. All right. Yeah, you walked away from the toothpicks. All right. Me too. And with a few extras. All right. So anyway, so solar, big. Like I said, I'm going to do a quick summary. I love solar. I love everything about it. But just remember, you don't save any money until you get paid back in all that savings. I mean, here's a quick way. I'll just do this quick math real fast. I'll actually do it on paper because I don't want to look like an idiot. And I'm just going to use rough numbers, okay? And this is basic math. This is not all the mumbo jumbo. Let's just say this is not thinking that the electric rates are going to go up. Everything's just the same. So let's say you spend $15,000 on your solar installation, and that's after all the tax credits and all the giveaway, whatever. You have to write a check for 15 grand. All right. Let's just say that your electric bill, I don't know, $200 a month. All right. Now, we don't know that the solar panels that you bought are going to produce enough electricity all the time. Maybe they will. Let's just assume they will. Let's assume that you're always going to have the solar panels working. So each year you save $2,400. You're not paying that out to the electric company. All right. So it takes about 6.5 years. So if I divide 15,000 by 2,400, it takes 6.5 years approximately just to break even. You got that? Just to break even. because you got to pay yourself back that 15 grand. Because remember, if you didn't put the solar in, you still have the 15 grand in your pocket or in your bank account. You could have invested it in the stock market. And over the same 6.5 years, the 15 grand might be 24 grand. So you're 9,000 ahead. That's the kind of math you got to do. And that's just really quick math. That's just really, remember, you're not saving any money until you paid yourself back that 15 grand in any interest you lost. Then finally, after 6.5 years, that next month, you finally saved $200. The salesmen don't tell you that. And if you think I'm wrong about that, I need you to show me mathematically how I'm wrong. All right. You want to know, you said my flipping insurance company is not paying for any of my, because they don't really have, well, I Super Spring, I don't know if you know how insurance works. All right, we're gonna go on a tangent about insurance here. So I'm going to ask you, Super Spring, have you ever gone to Las Vegas? Have you ever been in a casino? I have. All right, so I'm not a big gambler, but I do like blackjack, and a friend of mine taught me how to play. There's a really great book. Like if you're a blackjack player, you got to read this book. I think it's called Beat the Dealer. All right, so it's written about 35, 40 years ago. It shows you the system on how you can really, there's a really good chance of how you can win at blackjack. Anyway, so insurance is just like blackjack. All right, so when you go to the casino and you put down a $20 chip on a hand of blackjack and you put your chip down, you are betting that you are going to win that hand. And the dealer is betting, the dealer's saying, awesome, I'm betting I'm going to win. One of you is going to win the $20. Well, that's what's going, one of you is going to win the hand. So here's how insurance works. You buy a house insurance policy and you read the policy. The policy will usually covers fires and it covers wind damage, and you have to read what it covers. There's a lot of things it doesn't cover. It won't cover flood damage. All right. So so the insurance company, here's what they're betting. So your insurance policy might be $1,000 a year. And the insurance company is betting, they're not saying this to you, but they're saying, we bet this year, because remember, the insurance is only for a year. It's like just like that's why it's so cool. It's just like blackjack. When you put a bet down, you're only betting that hand. Well, when you buy insurance, you're only playing a hand for a year. The insurance company is betting you will not have a fire. They're saying, we bet you're not going to have a fire. We bet you're not going to, there's not going to be a giant windstorm and you're going to have any damage. So a year goes by, nothing goes wrong, and you lose. You lose your $1,000 that you paid. All right. Whereas me, I'll give you an example. So 5 years ago, we had a big windstorm here. The windstorm completely ruined my dock for my boat. Well, I don't have a boat, but I have a boat dock. $14,000 to repair it. My insurance is $1,000. They wrote a check for well, I have a deductible. They wrote the check. They lost that year. They lost. And you have to understand this. You may have a claim after, you may be with the same insurance. First of all, you need to be shopping insurance every year. Shop insurance, because there are certain, it's like a shell game. The insurance companies are always trying to get new customers in different areas. Don't stay with the same company, for God's sake. Anyway, I could talk for hours about this stuff. So if you tell your insurance agent, but I've been a good customer for 20 years. Why are they treating me this way? Like you like, I look at your thing. You're saying, but the insurance company is not helping me out here. Dude, understand, it's just a game of blackjack. They don't care about all the past years that you put your money on the table. They don't care about that. It doesn't matter. It's a 1-year game. That's all it is. All right. Read your policy. I'll bet you, Super Spring, I'll bet you have never read your policy. I'm actually willing to bet. Really read it cover to cover. I'm willing to bet you that you have not read your policy. I'm willing to bet $50. And when you read it, you're going to be stunned. What you're going to be stunned about is how many things that your home insurance does not cover. You're going to be stunned. All right. So I highly recommend this weekend you read your house insurance policy. And I highly recommend you go out shopping for a new policy. You're going to save literally hundreds of dollars. Yeah, I know exactly what you should do. You say right here, I also have a question about any chance you know what I should do for my animatronics and how I take them in my house. Yes, here's the answer to that question right here. There's the answer. I don't know. I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at I don't know why. I can't explain things very well, I don't think. All right. Yeah, they just don't like me. That's it. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're making me in such good moods, Super Spring. I'm in such a good mood about your comments. You're acting like you're acting like the insurance company cares about you. They don't care about anybody. You need to get more life experience, Commander. It's just a game of blackjack. There's no emotion in it. If you're a dealer in the Bellagio at the blackjack table, there's no emotion. You're just dealing cards. That's all insurance is. Oh my God, there's no emotion in it. They don't like any of us. The only thing they like is when we pay them our premiums. Oh my gosh. Lorraine, Will, Shannon, you can put it in the comments. You've never seen me like this. This is a rare boy. Wait till Steve finds out what he missed. Oh my gosh. He'll probably watch the replay, but it's not as good. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what, Super Spring, you remind me, you might get a really, I'm going to find a video here. It's one of my favorite videos. And it's kind of directly related to what we're talking about. I've got another tab open. I am finding a video right now. And I'm going to share this. It is, it's one of my favorite videos. And there's a part in this video that your one comment reminded me of. And it's in about 2 minutes, 30 seconds into this video. I've almost got it. So say hang tight. Internet connection's a little slow today. So I'm going to have this video for you in just a second. Come on. I should have restarted my, here we go, right here. This is the one. All right, I just got to get the URL. Here we go. And this is a flipping hilarious video. I mean, I want you to listen to this video about what Donnie says. What Donnie says that, oh, wait a minute. It says, last week. Wait a minute, I got to turn this off. I got to shut that off. When Donnie says, last week I got some emails from moms. When he starts saying that, you better start paying attention. He's here. We've been waiting on you. You missed it. Is anybody telling Steve what he missed? Oh my gosh. Shannon, tell Steve what he's been missing. Steve, I hope you're in great shape tonight, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping by. Oh my gosh. You have missed it, man. You have got to watch this, even though it's going to be a replay for you and not live. I swear, please watch this. Especially starting about 30 minutes in. All right. So I like what Shannon does in capital letters, everything. We did talk about solar roof shingles, and I gave you my list of questions. Steve, how are you doing tonight? How are things over in the UK? Tell me. Talk to us. That is a hilarious video. And just so you know, if you really want to get the full impact of that one video, that's the 5th video in a series of maybe, I think there's 25 in the series. You have to watch that series from the beginning. It is so hilarious. And what you need to understand, that series was created about 15 years ago by a public relations firm in Newport, Kentucky. So anyway, really, really a funny video. One of my favorite ones. When Donnie says in that video, Steve, you got to watch that too later on. That video I just linked to, when he says, he goes, you go grab a fruit roll up in a juice box, and we'll be back to check you out in about 6 hours. I use that line all the time. Oh my gosh. Oh, go grab a fruit roll up in a juice box. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, I know. We're going to cover that. I'm going to tell you right now. Number one, Steve, I want to thank you for suggesting the Zoom call. And when we do it, you're in charge. And what I mean by that is you're going to say, this is when we're going to do it, so that I know you're going to be there, because I want you there for a host of reasons. But we are going to have so much fun on that Zoom call. It's going to be flipping amazing. It's going to be amazing. So it's going to be a great, great time. I don't know how long. I may have to sign up for an account. I mean, an unlimited account, because it's going to run over 40 minutes. I think my account is set up for that 40-minute limit. So anyway, I'm glad you're okay though. Good. I'm okay. I am way okay over here. When you watch this replay, you are going to think that I've been drinking something. I'm telling you, it's just water. It's got a little bit of lime in it. So anyway, I've been having a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun with Super Spring. I'm kind of beating up on him a little bit. He keeps asking for advice, and I keep giving him the advice, but he won't take it. He won't take it. He won't listen to me. He's not listening. All right. So we've been on a long time, an hour and 13 minutes. Steve, have you got any questions about you're a limey, I know. Have you got any questions about the solar roof shingles, or anything you want me to speak to? You get first priority, because you got in here a little late. So if there's any question you've got, now's the time to put it in here, buddy. Love to hear it. While Steve's typing, I'll tell you what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't know that I'll get it all done tomorrow, but I am creating a new product. So people tell me that I'm not monetizing YouTube the right way. All right. So I have this video that I did about how sewer gas comes out of the roof vent pipe and then drifts down into your yard or into your house, and it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. And I solved it. I was the first guy that posted a video that shows how to solve this problem. I've never found another one. All right. So, and it's kind of a neat story how I came up with the idea. Anyway, I've been giving all that advice away for free. So what I'm going to do, and it's going to make some people upset, but that's too bad. That's too bad. Because the problem with YouTube, here's a problem with YouTube, is that it's fostered this thinking in many people, not all, in many people, that everything should be free. Because like right now, you can watch this live stream for free. Well, I don't know that I agree with that. All right. So I mean, some information can be free, but if you want the really good stuff, you got to pay. I'm going to take that video that's up there now where I give the solution and take it off of YouTube. I'm actually going to kind of re-edit it. But what I'm going to put up in its place is a short video where I give away a free PDF file that explains to people, this is what is causing the problem. Here's why you have sewer gas. It's going to be a really short PDF file. It's going to have some illustrations that I draw by hand. And it's going to say, and then it's going to, here's what, before I take that video down, by the way, there's hundreds and hundreds of comments from people like you where they're just glowing testimonials saying, oh my God, it solved the problem. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to copy and paste all those screenshots of those. And then I'm going to put them in this PDF file to show the people that I know exactly how to solve the problem. I know exactly how to do it. Now, so in other words, here's the problem. I'm going to explain to them. So I'm explaining what the problem, exactly what's going on. And if they want to put their own gray cells to work and then try to figure out the solution themselves, okay, cool. But if they want me to tell them how to solve it, then they have to pay me. I don't know. I'm going to price test it, but I'll probably go $9.95. We'll see what happens. So then in this free PDF, it's going to go, okay, if you want to know how to solve it in just 5 minutes, it's all it takes, 5 minutes, $9.95. And so we'll see how many people then buy access to the other video that I'm going to take down. All right. So that's what I'm doing. If you think that's a really bad idea, let me know. But I don't know any other way to do it. I don't know how to do it. So, all right, here we go. Let me get caught up. I don't know what's going on with Super Spring. Just some very things. Some of your comments don't make sense. I don't understand. Here it goes. All I can say is I prefer solar to turbine. Yes, correct. That's really interesting. Well, I'll tell you what I think it is, Steve, why they're not pushing it. The way it works here in the United States, I assume when you say turbines, you mean the big giant windmills. I hate those things. What I think is going on with the windmills is that the ruling class people, like the ruling class people in all of the countries around the world, have got this very exclusive club and they scratch each other backs. So here in New Hampshire, where I live, we have a windmill farm up in Rumford, which is a town, I don't know, about 15, 20 miles away. And you would think that the windmills that are on those mountains are owned by the New Hampshire Electric Co-op. You would be wrong. You would be completely wrong. They're owned by a Spanish company. And if we start digging into the documents as to who are the investors or who are the owners of the Spanish company, my guess it's going to be people that are in the ruling class of Spain own the wind turbines here in New Hampshire. So I'm just going to say this out loud. It could be George Bush. It could be Obama. It could be Biden. It could be any number. It could be Bill Clinton. Doesn't matter what the party is. They might own windmills down in Argentina right now. All right. So that's what I think is going on. That's why I think the people in the UK are pushing the turbines, because the people who are pushing it are making money in another country because they're allowing some other ruling class person to put those ugly wind turbines on your countryside or in the ocean. All right. So that's what I think is going on. All right. So Super Spring says I'm a jokester. So I'm going to make a request from you. Keep your jokes out of the comments because they don't add any value. All right. No, I don't take a personal offense to it. I'm just telling you how I am. Or we'll remove them. We'll remove the comments, so, because Will and Steve are moderators. If it doesn't add value, they're going to get rid of your comments. So don't even bother typing it. All right. That's just the way it is. I only want comments that add value for sure. So Vanessa wants to know. All right, here we go. Steve also says maybe because you don't get a lot of sunshine there. Well, it depends on there's different places in the United States get different amounts of sunlight, but in the Southwest, they get the most, and probably down in Florida. You can look at a solar map of the United States to see which places get the most. Like where you would not want to have solar or where it wouldn't do very good would be in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle. I mean, they get a lot of cloudy days. So and you just have to look it up. It's simple. All right. So see where Super Springs got my PC is going to explode. So that's a comment I would get rid of. In fact, I'll do it. I'm pretty good at this. I can do this. I think I can. So I'm just going to remove this. So there. I don't want to see a message like that. No offense. That doesn't add anything. So Steve says to Will, I'm not sure you need that much sun. Plenty of people buy it privately. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, so Greg says, by the way, I really liked your video diagram on the French drain. Yeah, thank you, Greg. It's worked really. I've solved thousands and thousands of wet basements, man. I mean, it's luckily it's what I studied in college. It's what my degree's in. So I know all about groundwater. So I'm going to get rid of this one too. So we just don't, some of these comments, they just don't add any value. All right. Rich landowners profit big time for the winter. Yes, of course. Exactly. Wow. Holy tomato. 25% of your utility bill is green tax. Oh my gosh. We don't have that here. Well, I don't have that here in New Hampshire. I don't know about other people in the United States. There could be a tax in California, but they tax everything there. They're going to probably tax going to the bathroom soon enough. Anyway. So yeah, no worries, man. See, like your comment here about sorry. I appreciate you saying you're sorry, but see, we're going to remove that one too because it's just not adding any value. We only want comments that we put that add value, and sometimes that add humor. All right, but some of them, maybe I don't understand your humor. All right. All right. So I don't have much else. I don't want to spoil it and start to get into something that we could spend a lot more time on another day. We've been on for a long time. I think this is the longest live stream I've had to date. Anyway, I had a good time. I'll be here tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to talk about. But I can't wait to get more information from GAF. I'm not reaching out to them till after the builder show. The big builder show is happening soon. And they're busy right now getting ready for it. They don't need me bothering them. And I'll wait till all that hullabaloo dies down. Vanessa says the state prevented battery setups with solar panels. They had just changed the law. Oh yeah, thank you, Will, for reminding me. I did not put the ash out because I knew we weren't going to get a lot of sun, and because of my hillside, I didn't want to remember what I talked about 30 minutes ago about hope. I didn't want to hope the ice was going to melt. I had to have the ice melt because you and I both know, look at our weather forecast for tomorrow, next couple of days. Steve, if you're still here, dude, check out our weather in the next couple of days. You asked me a month or so ago if the lakes have frozen yet. Well, let me tell you, my lake here, Big Lake Winnisquam, if the wind dies down, it's going to freeze tomorrow or the next day. All right. Wait till you see what the temperature is going to be here tomorrow. Look it up, Steve. You'll be stunned. You've probably never felt cold like that in London before. No way. No way has it gotten that cold. Not in your lifetime. Anyway, so I did not put the ash out, Will, because I wanted two reasons. Number one, you reminded me of how messy it is. And number two, I had to get that ice to melt. So I put salt out, and the salt did a great job. So so now I can easily get up and down my driveway. And Kathy is she doesn't have the confidence in driving in it that I do. So I have to have the driveway clear for her. It's the least I can do. All right. So I didn't want to hope on the wood ash. I can tell you if I was next door, if I had as much sunlight as my neighbor gets, the ash would do a great job. I know it. I'm going to try it again though. All right. So yeah, Vanessa. Yeah, actually I talked about that a little bit before. I'm a ham radio operator, and I talked earlier in the stream, I talked about HF radio propagation. Exactly. Yeah, there's a link. Oh, here. So the solar. I'll give that link again right now to those who want to know what we talked about earlier. Here is the link. Here's the link to the GAF solar shingles. Wow, 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that 14? Is that 14 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius? Because I mean, if it's 14 Celsius, no, it had to be Fahrenheit because that's 14 Celsius would be. I'm trying to think what that would be. That must be around. I don't know. I'm just guessing 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I think. I don't know. I'm not good at converting it mentally. Vanessa says, I have 50 panels that turn out to burn. Okay, good. Good for you. Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be below zero here in New Hampshire tonight and tomorrow. I think tomorrow, let me look at my phone here real fast, then I'll get out of here. So here's, Steve, if you're still there, here's our forecast. I'll hold it up for you. So it's going to be -3 tonight. And then tomorrow, it's only going to get to 6. You can't. Well, yeah, if I do that, maybe you can see it. Nah, it's too bright. Sorry about that. It's too bright. So tonight, it's going to drop down to 3 below zero. Tomorrow, it's only going to be 6. The high, they think, maybe gets to 6 degrees. The low tomorrow night's -5. Then it's going to bounce back up and be pretty normal. So be cold here for the next 48 hours. But that's the kind of cold. If the wind dies down, Steve, and I'll take photos for you. I mean, I'll show you, man. I'll get photos. Boy, the lake just it looks like a piece of glass, man. I'm serious. It looks like a piece of glass, just completely smooth. It's pretty amazing. Not Fahrenheit. Okay. So wait a minute. So if you're 14C, that's nothing. Yeah, that's like here in New Hampshire, 14 degrees Celsius, people be wearing shorts. I'm serious. T-shirts and shorts here in New Hampshire. You would die in that weather. No. Yes. Okay. Whatever it is, man, I'll come to Florida. I'll go. But let me tell you, Florida is beautiful. Beautiful in October. Oh my gosh. Beautiful weather. So, or May. May is a really good month in Florida. May is a fantastic month. And Will's, I don't know that Will can, I don't think Will can private message you. I don't think so. But Will heard about our possible Florida trip and that maybe we could play golf if you're a golfer. You know, if you are, great. If you're not, don't worry about it. So, so Will emailed me last night about golf. Pretty interesting stuff. So anyway, all right, here we go. I did the math, but I may be biased. Your math teacher. Good for you. Good for you teaching math. It's an interesting story about math in school. I did really badly in math in high school because I was a wild animal, just a wild animal. In college, I did fantastic in math. In fact, I'll tell a quick story. To get my geology degree, you had to take a certain amount of math and certain types of math. And I struggled. I didn't do well at all on linear algebra. I had to pull out of the class. So my senior year, get this, to fulfill my requirement for math, my senior year of college, all right? So think about how you feel senior year. The spring quarter of my senior year, the last 10 weeks of school of my life, I have to take this calculus class. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 4 in the afternoon until 5. It's springtime in Cincinnati. Are you kidding me? Everybody on a Friday, they blow off Friday and they go sun themselves in the local parks. But so the math, the calculus class was taught by a grad student. He was the best math teacher I've ever had in my life. What you need to understand about math, and Vanessa, you'll probably agree with this. I think the reason a lot of people have trouble with math is because it's like teaching a language. It would be like me trying to learn German or French. It's like, what? Like, what in the hell are you talking about? All right, well, this graduate student had a gift. He had a flipping gift. And he made a prediction the first day of class. I'll never forget. He said, well, I already know that when we get into May, that on Friday afternoons, probably no one's going to be here. So the class typically had about 20 people in it. And on Fridays, he was right. There was only 3 of us that showed up. I never missed a class. This guy was such an excellent teacher. And I actually look forward to going to this guy's class. I wish I knew if he was still alive. I wish I knew his name. I don't, it's one of those things. I would love to get in contact with him and tell him, what a great teacher he was. He was flipping amazing. I got an A in the class. All right. She thought I had paid the guy off, but I got an A on every test. I got it. I understood it because he was such a good teacher. All right. All right. Let's see. All right. So, Vanessa says an electric company still charges. Yeah, well, they have to. The electric company still needs to charge that. But you can understand that because you should be very thankful that you're still connected to the grid, because if for some reason your solar system goes bad, a windstorm, whatever, and then you can just flip a switch and you're still got electric because you're connected to the grid. You know what? That's the price you pay for that. It's your insurance policy. That's the way you need to look at that. Okay, I don't know. You're a math teacher. You really need to do the math about that. I talked about that earlier about the storage system. I don't know. You do a comparison about getting a standby generator. Standby generator may be cheaper. All right. All right. Shannon says, good that they changed it. Sounds criminal for them to not allow you to keep the energy that you're. Well, I don't know what the deal is with that. So, all right, you know what to do about that one that just showed up. There's one of those bad people Steve told us about. Get rid of that guy, that Russian guy. Give me a break. Hide him, whatever it is. You know what to do. If you're still here, there you go. Thank you, Will. Yeah, they know they are. They don't think it. They know they are. All right. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. Hour and 31 minutes. That's crazy. I had a blast today. I hope you did too. I really appreciate you being here. Appreciate all of the comments. It was a really, really great back and forth on the live stream, and I appreciate it. Will, thanks for hiding that guy. Steve, get some rest, buddy. I'll be here tomorrow. Have no idea what we're going to do. I'll come up with some good topic, that's for sure. I hope to. There's so much to talk about. And have a great night. I'm going to have one too. And let's see. It was a great, good. Thanks, Greg. You're still here. I'll be doggone. You're still here. I thought that you would have bailed on me. Greg, you know how you could help me? You could help me, Greg, if you could write a short, pithy testimonial and email it to me. I would like to put it in the newsletter to try to get more of the subscribers to take a chance on this live stream. So help me out with that. Jason, you're still here too. Good night, buddy. Thanks for being here. Good for you. Good for you for doing the math. Exactly. All right. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks so much for being here today. I had a blast. I'm going to sleep well tonight. Yeah, exactly. You need higher wattage panels. Exactly. The whole solar thing. And here's what's going to happen eventually. I don't know if it's going to happen in our lifetime. There's going to be a major jump in technology in the solar stuff. It's going to be like a huge hyper jump to where I know I'm making this up. I'm being facetious here, where a solar panel the size of a 4x8 sheet of plywood will more than create more than enough electricity for the whole house. I mean, in other words, they're going to shrink the size of the solar panels and extract more energy from them. There's going to be a technology jump that does that. What it is, I don't know. I mean, just look at just silly battery technology. Look at if you're not a ham radio operator, you don't even know this. I use lithium iron phosphate batteries for my ham radio, outdoor radio work. You should see how light they are. Crazy. And then, and just go back in time, just 10, 15 years ago, to just all we had were lead acid batteries, how heavy they were. All right. So big technology coming ahead on solar stuff. Believe me, there's people working on it. And the people who are really smart, they're gonna make a lot of money. Good for them. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for watching. I don't know. It was electric. It was an electric space heater that caused the fire. It's a horrible situation. Will says maybe get a U.S. company to build better batteries. Well, actually, the company that I buy from, it's BioNO Power. BioNO Power. It is a U.S. company. I think they make their own batteries. Lithium iron phosphate. Look them up. I'll put it in right here. I'll spell it. Big him a big plug. They deserve it. BioNO Power. It's a great, great company. They make great, great batteries. I mean, amazing stuff. Amazing, amazing stuff. I'm out of here. You have a good night. I don't know what's for dinner, but I'm starting to get hungry, and but I'm not going to eat for another hour and a half at least. Okay. Thanks for being here. I'll be here tomorrow. I'm Tim Carter. You have been watching Ask the Builder, and I'm going to restart my computer tomorrow because I don't want to get these warnings. I keep getting these warnings today. Your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. So thanks for all the thumbs up. Good night, Steve. Good night, Shannon. Good night, Lorene. Good night, Jason. Good night, Will. Good night, everyone. Thanks for being here. Vanessa, I enjoy all of your comments. It's just fascinating, just wonderful. Wait till the Zoom call. Oh my gosh, are we going to have fun that day or that night? All right, I'm out of here. I'm Tim Carter. This has been Ask the Builder.